let's talk biology. Number 1, DNA and RNA. DNA replication. DNA replication is the biological process where a cell copies its entire genome before division. It ensures that each resulting daughter cell receives an identical set of genetic instructions, which is essential for cell growth, tissue repair, and biological inheritance. So let's say you're copying somebody else's game strategy completely. The same operator, gadgets, loadout, and even every reinforcement placement. Everything. If replication goes wrong, you could have the wrong operator loadouts, missing strategies, and even missing reinforcements. That's like a mutation in biology. Sometimes harmless, sometimes helpful, sometimes harmful. So DNA replication is basically making a perfect duplicate of the entire ranked strategy before splitting it in between two new squads. RNA. RNA is often described as the cell's messenger. It primarily acts as a messenger that carries instructions from the DNA to control the synthesis of the proteins. DNA strands are typically double-stranded, while RNA usually exists as a single strand. DNA is the hereditary material in humans and almost all other living organisms. It acts as a biological instruction manual or blueprint, storing the genetic codes required for an organism to develop, survive, and reproduce. Now, we're talking about Rainbow Six Siege. It's kind of like DNA says that your game senses fast, so RNA sends that message in your settings or to your game, and now your operator will look around fast. DNA is like the original game files and settings created by the developers. Those files contain all the instructions for how operators function. RNA's job is to carry those instructions from the DNA to the rest of the cell, like a teammate delivering callouts from the strategy guide so the operator can actually perform actions in a match. So, if the DNA says that your game senses fast, the RNA sends that message and now your operator will look around fast. It's not exactly the same as in real life because, obviously you can change your settings in the game. You can't exactly change how athletic or how fast you look around unless you train. Protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is the biological process cells use to build proteins from amino acids. It is the foundation of cellular function, and it is when the cell actually builds something from the instructions. Now, to make this easier, DNA will write the strat on a whiteboard. RNA, or the IGL, will call out the strats. Ribosomes are the operators building the setup, and proteins are the finished gadgets, reinforcements, traps, armor, etc. Without proteins, there would be no movement, no healing, no muscles, and no functions in the game. Alright, now let's talk about the cell cycle. Disruption of cycle. Disruption of cycle is when DNA replication, stop and go signals fail when replication and dividing DNA. Cells can uncontrollably replicate or divide, and that can cause cancer. In Rainbow Six Siege terms, it's like you get a glitch in the game and you can't stop shooting your gun or respawning. Mitosis. Mitosis is the process where a single eukaryotic cell divides its duplicated DNA to create two identical daughter cells. It's like doing the same exact setup in a match because you won last game in defense, so you play out the same exact strat, but don't get it mixed up with meiosis, because we'll get to that later. Stem cells. Stem cells is like recruiting before choosing an operator. Stem cells are special cells that turn into many different types of cells. First, they are unspecialized. They have no specific job or no locked-in loadout, but later they can become muscle cells, skin cells, blood cells, nerve cells, and more. Genetics. Meiosis. Meiosis is a specialized type of cell division that is essential for sexual reproduction. You could say it's like two OG players teaching a new player how to play the game. Imagine two players combining operator preferences, attachment, playstyles, and settings. The child's account gets a random mix of both. Patterns of inheritance. Patterns of inheritance refers to the rules governing how genetic traits and disorders are passed from parents to offspring. Patterns of inheritance are like two Siege players creating a new account and passing down parts of their favorite settings and loadouts. A dominant trait is like one player's settings that always gets used if it's included. A recessive trait is like a special attachment setup that only appears if both parents pass it down. A Punnett square is like predicting the possible loadouts a new account could receive based on the settings from both parent accounts. Mutations. A DNA mutation is a change or a shift in sequence of DNA. It's like planting the diffuser and another player from the opposite team destroys your diffuser that you've placed. Evolution. Natural selection. Natural selection is the process where organisms better adapt to their environment tend to survive and produce more offspring. An organism with useful traits survive longer. It's like playing an operator that you know best to survive longer and use their abilities to their full advantage. If you have good aim, good meta, good hearing, you can survive. Bad aim, not being able to hear, not knowing how to use operators, or knowing the map, you'll lose. Evidence of evolution. Evidence of evolution is in the name. Evidence of evolution is like the game updating from time to time to fix bugs or update the game for a new season. Or it could be you progressively getting better at the game over time. Types of evolution. Macroevolution. Macroevolution is a large-scale evolutionary change and process that occurs at or above the species level, such as the origin of a new species, major adaptive radiations, and large-scale extinctions. Macroevolution could be siege changing so much over many years that it almost becomes a completely different game from its original version. Convergent evolution. Convergent evolution is when two species start to act and look similar because they adapt to similar conditions. It could be like you and your teammate duo so often that you have similar playstyles and operator preferences. Microevolution. Microevolution is evidence of evolution from a short period of time. It's like someone getting slightly better at the game over a short period of time. Coevolution. Coevolution is the process by which two or more species influence each other's evolutionary trajectory. Coevolution could be like attackers and defenders adapting to each other's playstyles. Geologic time. Geologic time is a huge timeline scientists use to organize Earth's history, from when Earth formed about 4.6 million years ago to today. Geologic time is like looking at every season, update, patch, and major change in siege history from the day the game launched until now. And that's how DNA, cell cycle, genetics, and evolution all connect to each other in Rainbow Six Siege terms. Just like Siege couldn't function without its game files, settings, and updates, life wouldn't function without all of these processes working together.